So if you've ever asked yourself the question, what type of life insurance should I buy? You're going to want to watch to the end of this video because I'm going to share with you the two major types, some of the pros and cons, and then give you my tips on when you should buy which one. My name is Cluff. I'm a former financial advisor turned financial educator and coach, and I absolutely love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. In this video, we're going to talk about the two types of life insurance. Of course, the first one is term insurance. So let's jump right in. Term insurance is temporary. It only lasts for a certain period of time. It's 10, 20, or 30 years. There's actually some that are different depending on the insurance company you go with. You can actually get a different set of years that are available. But in general, it's 10, 20, or 30 years. There are some that last a little bit longer. Some of the pros of term insurance is that it's usually affordable. It's usually specific to a certain time frame where you might need a little extra protection for your family, like maybe while you're paying your mortgage. Another one is maybe while some kids are still growing and you want to have some money in case you pass away during your children's younger years, or you're early on with your spouse in your marriage and you want to make sure that they're protected. So there's some reasons to have term insurance where you actually can use it for a specific period of time where you might need to have a little bit extra. Some of the cons about term insurance is that it ends after the term, and if you don't renew it at usually a significantly multipled price, then you're going to have no coverage. And if you don't pass away during the time frame, all the money that you spent on that term policy basically goes to the company, and you don't get any of that back. Term insurance is like renting. If you're renting a house, it's temporary. You're only there for a certain period of time. The owner actually owns it. So term insurance is that temporary insurance, usually very inexpensive, so it's worth it. One of the things that I want to have you think about, though, is a lot of insurance companies market term insurance very heavily. Why do you think they spend all of their marketing or their advertising dollars on term insurance? I think it's because they understand and they realize that 90% of people who buy term insurance don't die within the term. And so it's all money to them. It's all profit. It's all gravy. So one thing to think about is you're buying term insurance and comparing the differences. I think that you should have both probably in reality. But let's jump into permanent insurance and what that is and why you should buy permanent insurance. But before I do, I want to remind you that I'm creating a school community. So please join my school community. Go to pariscluff.com/school. You'll see a link in the description below and a link in my bio that you can go and click that and join my school group. It's a community of people who want to become more financially literate and become more financially free and turn their income into wealth and build a massive bank account. So let's talk about permanent insurance. Permanent insurance has many types of insurance that are underneath that umbrella of permanent. So whole life is one that a lot of people know about. Universal life. Not a lot of people know about variable universal life. So you may have heard a lot about index universal life. That's a very popular one right now. That's also a type of permanent insurance. Now, the good news about permanent insurance is that it lasts as long as you do. You don't have to worry about dying after the term is over, like with term insurance. One of the things that's maybe a little more challenging for those that are on a stricter budget is that permanent insurance has a little bit higher price. One of the reasons why is because there's a cash value accumulation component to it. And so as you purchase a permanent insurance policy, just recognize that a significant portion of your premium is going to actually be going to fund or fulfill the cash value, which gives you a lot of potential resources. There's one of the reasons why index universal life and whole life are really popular right now is because of a concept called infinite banking. This video, we're not going to talk about infinite banking, but it's a very powerful process, very powerful strategy if you do it right and if you get with an agent who knows how to do it correctly. If you'd like to know more about infinite banking or whether or not you should have term insurance or permanent insurance, hit me up at pariscluff.com and I'll make sure to help you find the plan that's right for you. So the other part about permanent insurance that I think that's important is that it's a huge opportunity for an estate plan tool. So there's only two guarantees in life, right? Death and taxes. And permanent insurance can actually help you as you build cash value. That cash value can be accessed tax-free. So that's a huge benefit. The other part of it is that during estate planning is that you're going to pass away at some point in the future. You might as well have an insurance policy in place. Now, a lot of people say, well, when I'm older, I don't think I'll need as much insurance. And that might be true that you may not need as much, but that doesn't mean you don't need any. So I would highly recommend that you still consider getting a permanent insurance policy, because when you're 70, 80, or 90 years old, you're still going to need somebody you're still going to need some cash to help put you in the ground, bury you, and all your final expenses. Final expense insurance can be very expensive if you start later in life. So if you're young and you have a lot of years to go, now is the time to get a permanent policy. Well, what's cool about a lot of term policies, and kind of just to kind of give you some of the what are called living benefits for term policies, there are living benefits for term insurance now and for permanent insurance. Those living benefits are really powerful because they give you the ability to access some of the death benefit before you pass away if you have a qualifying critical or chronic illness. So if you're given a diagnosis where you have a certain number of months to live, you can petition your insurance company. They'll give you some, they'll front load, or they'll give you some money early so that you can actually use that money to help with your care, help maybe with your last moments of life as you're enjoying those last few months with your family. One of the other things that I thought was pretty interesting is I heard a story where a gentleman had a diagnosis where he was given a few months to live. The insurance company gave him a bunch of money, and he was able to take that money and he was able to travel the world a little bit, and he found some medical doctors or some practitioners that were able to help him elongate that time frame, and he was able to live for many years longer because he had enough cash now to be able to do some things and find and look for some of these alternative medical providers and medicine processes. So I highly recommend that when you get a term insurance or a permanent insurance policy, that you get one that has what are called living benefits: critical illness, chronic illness, long-term care. Some of these permanent insurance and term insurance policies have all of these available as part of their living benefits. So let me ask you a question. Do you have life insurance? If you do, put down below, I have life insurance. I would love to hear what kind of insurance you have, whether it's term or permanent. I'd love to hear if your insurance policy has these living benefits or not. I recently had a client reach out to me and say that they were asking me about some questions, and I shared with them some answers, and they're like, wow, I didn't even realize, I didn't even know that. I'd like to get some upgrade. I'd like to make a change to my current policies so that I get some of these new features and benefits. And so it's very good to review your policies, though even the ones you've had for many years, it's very good to review them regularly to make sure that you have all of those up to date. The key to getting insurance is to get it when you're young, get it when you're healthy, get the right kind of insurance so that you know you're beginning with the end in mind, and get some, I think you should have some of both. Get some term insurance maybe to pay off the mortgage, and get a permanent insurance policy to make sure that all of your end of life expenses are taken care of, because all of us are going to have those at some point in the future. If you missed the last video where I talked about how to calculate how much life insurance to get, you're going to want to watch that here. Until the next time, make sure that you're taking time every day to turn your income into wealth and build a massive bank account. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.